You currently still working in New York, right?
Yes, I do.
And you help patients, right? Like over mental health and stuff.
Yes, I have both inpatients and outpatients.
Ill patients and odd patients.
Inpatients mean patients who get admitted in hospital and they get treated while they stay in hospital. Outpatients, they
I
come and
can't
stay
hear,
in the
like
clinic.
I can't understand what you're saying because it's like it's in an audible because of the
Okay,
voice.
let me get on.
Just you have you like plugged in your earphones?
Yeah, I can hear well, but just that I can't understand what he's saying. Like I can
Okay,
hear
okay,
everything
okay.
fine.
Okay, if you can hear fine, then I'll speak slowly.
Yeah.
So, when I say inpatient, what that means is patients get admitted in hospital, they stay overnight, basically they eat, sleep, everything in hospital while they get treated. Outpatients, they come and see me in the clinic for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then they go home
So they call
and
the
they
odd
continue to
patients, right? ODD,
take ODD.
outpatient. So they have mental sickness. Do you say mental sickness or no?
No, no,
It's
no. We call it mental illness.
mental illness, right? So, what was your first? What was your first impression of me? Because because
Okay.
we because we had like you had it because I have ADD, right? So so I think so you were there to help me, like you were there to help me tackle all my anxiety issues and stuff, right? So every time when I came for a session, you always used to give me some exercises that I used to do. What was your first impression of me?
Okay. Impression is, I mean, one regarding struggling in social settings, both at school, outside. So, what's the kind of grief that I had? When I see why that could be an issue in your interaction.
Also, I wouldn't
With
that be that
people
much.
that are younger, normal, no mental, just struggling a bit to adjust to the life around you. That's about it.
So, do you think like do you have you ever met like any other people who have ADD, like
Yes,
something similar to me?
100.
And
And each one is different in their own way, but yes, a lot of it.
but what were some common things that you found between me and the other patients you have treated before?
Okay. Basically, like losing track of things and not able to sustain attention.
And why do you think that is? Why do you think that people with ADD are like very forgetful? Like, what do you think makes them more forgetful? Do you think games make like when they are addicted to something? Do you think that games also contribute to like it increases their ADD, which makes them forget more of the stuff because they're
See,
engrossed?
ADD is more to do with attention. Okay, so if you're one, you get easily distracted, and because of that, it's very difficult to maintain attention on one thing for longer. What happens with games? Games are designed to be very addictive. They kind of give constant dopamine. If your brain gets used to games, then it would find the life around you very boring.
Yeah,
So real
this
life, yeah,
it, so it does
so
happen
real
to
life, the real life is never as interesting or as fast paced.
oh, okay. Um, so you're saying that like when we like some people with ADD are like when they play games they become more addicted to it, right? So
No, no,
what
no.
do you
Everybody is understood. There's nothing specific about it. I don't think there has been any study done as far as I know.
my case it did affect me because it affected my academics, right? Because you just can't control the time, right? For us time just goes so fast that we sometimes just don't have a control over time, then it just like sucks the time out of us. That's how
Hmm.
you can. So do you think like for some people, do you think like most people face that, like who have similar connection to me?
No, I mean, you see, ADD is different from being addicted to games. They are two different conditions. We need to separate those.
But it's one of the common symptoms is attention deficit. But the thing which kind of like confuses me a bit is when they say attention deficit disorder. How can like teenagers with ADD like focus on screen time more than anything else? Like it clearly means that they can focus for a long time, right?
That's a very intelligent question. Good question. As so I told you just minute or two ago. See, with games, they are designed to be very fast paced and interesting. That leads to dopamine. Get dopamine hit that get the grasp your attention and holds it. Whereas daily events, the day-to-day stuff, they're not that fast paced. So people with attention deficit, even with attention deficit, who find things easily distracting and not able to concentrate when they are watching something that's interesting to them, that's fast paced, or when they're playing video games, they can maintain their attention. So that's the reason why their attention is
So it's more related to the
on.
dopamine, right?
Not just the time, I'm simplifying it a bit for it to be easily understandable. But yes, that's it.
Um, and do you so like you have so what do you think is the what do you think like have like what do you think is there a difference between like kids like normal kids and people children with ADD kids? No, wait, sorry, what am I
I
saying? No, I'm gonna say that is that what is the difference between kids with ADD and normal kids? Like, what is the difference between them, and what are some commonalities?
okay. See, not kids with ADD are also normal kids. I mean, what you mean is like kids with ADD and kids without ADD. See,
Yeah.
attention deficit is a very simple thing. Just, as it says in the thing, rest just the same. Intelligence, system, interest, all those things. People with attention deficit can have what's called comorbidity. They can have like anxiety symptoms or low mood symptoms uh, separate from it more than the children without ADD. So that's one difference. Uh, some commonalities, yeah, I mean, everything else is just the same. Interest in sports, interest in music, movies, just the same. So, child without ADD, they can focus longer, they can even play chess, they can read books, one thing. Children with ADD, they'll struggle with those
Do you believe like in this generation, like most like
things.
in this generation, most of the kids like most of the kids like who have ADD, dyslexia, and other things, they are like they're still studying co-ed schools, but do you think they deserve to have a special school for those kids? Because some kids can't cope with like those kids can't cope up with the normal kids because some of them need extra time and stuff. And plus for ADD kids, like there's a debate going on whether there should be a separate school. like for special kids, and it also does
It depends, like for dyslexia, it's a different condition. Okay, it's more a reading. ADD is different. Uh, then you have children with social difficulties. You have children with autism. So, get into when the terms now used are like neurodivergent, neurotypical kids and neurodivergent kids. That's you know, uh, language that is being used. And then we have children with learning disability. For children with learning disability, yes, they would be better off in a different school, which puts it at that level. Whereas, you, for example, say you have an ADHD school, kids with ADHD only go to the school. Even within that group, there'll be a lot of
this what?
differences.
Yeah.
Some child with ADHD might have much more skills, so they may need more input, more time. Ones with milder and they can get along more easily. Some with good intellect, some with poor intellect, some have learning disability. All those things. So uh, it's it's still debatable. If you ask me what's my personal view, I would say that some children with ADD would be comfortable in mainstream school. Some children might need to be in special school. So those
But
things.
but some of the some of my some people that I know do I don't know if they have ADD, but they have anxiety, anxiety issues and stuff, because when you see when they see the question paper, they kind of get anxious, and that's a huge problem,
Hmm.
right? So
So that shouldn't be called as anxiety disorder. See, seeing a question paper and getting anxious is a very normal response. Fear is a normal evolutionary response to keep us safe. So fear itself is not a problem. It's when the fear is very intense that stops you from functioning or then you can call it. So if children with anxiety disorder who the anxiety kind of cripples them or it stops them from functioning at that rate, yes, they need help. They just feel a bit anxious just before the exam. They see the open the question, and then once they see that they know some of the answers, then they start to calm down and are able to complete the exam and get good grades. Then that's fine.
but I noticed for me, for example, I have in ADD, most of the people, most I think I can classify them, have anxiety, right? And some of them might be afraid of the questions, so it takes them more time to think. So you can't say that most of them get good marks. The fear actually can make us even fail, for example.
That is like see, that's why you need to test what your ability is. So, for example, if you're able to get 80 out of 100 in mock exams and all the previous tests, and only in exam, then yes, anxiety is impacting your performance.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting 50, 60 in, even in so-called normal, then it's more to do with learning. Uh, Again, feeling anxious at the exam is very, very normal. That's very good. I would be surprised if any child comes and says, I never felt any, even a little bit, anxiety or stress before the test. Then they are, probably like 1 in 1,000 or what.
Do you think honestly that exams should be there? Because in
Mm.
exams some people might enjoy exams, but some people might not because of high anxiety, right? And some
Yeah.
ADD, there is actually in my school, they have
Mm.
they have they actually separate the kids out, the people who need help actually go ahead and take a head start. But do you think you should change the do you think we should actually not have exams and have more of projects, because exams are needed, but it's not significant compared to like in the real life we have a lot of projects and stuff. So do you think we should have project based question papers, like which we can qualify more than having exams?
I mean, what you raise is a very interesting point. It goes to the the bottom of what learning is all about. I think yeah, knowledge is based on your taking reality. The exam system still plays a huge role. Even for example, say in India they have NEET. So even if you don't do any school exam, you have to sit for NEET and get marks in that to get into medicine. If you want to do the US, you have to do SAT again. Then in UK they have the GCSE and A level. Then based on that score, whether you get A, B, C, and get what can do that. So all over the world, still see the reason being, how do you separate? For example, okay, there is one course that has 100 students. They can only take 100 students per year, but 1,000 students are interested in that course. How would you separate which 100 should join that course? So they have to have some way of choosing those 100.
Mm-hmm. But
So at the moment,
well,
tests are still the.
but so do you think it's more, so you like, I kind of like disagree the idea, because they want to like, but the problem is that like everyone, like exams don't define who we are, right? And every
No,
student
I mean, if you look at most successful people in life, you would see that they did, either average or below average schools and tests.
But I heard that there's a company which actually like only wants people who are creative. They don't like judge based on the test scores and stuff, and whether they went to a good college. So
Yeah,
you
I mean, some companies do that. So there are many ways, as they say, there are many ways to skin a cat. It's not just one way. Uh, it depends what you want to do. Like, if you want to start a business, that's a completely different skill that you need.